Without further ado, here she is. Got involved with the network marketing industry called ACM, wanted to make a little extra money because her husband had carried the household for so long and his back was out. He had to stay home for a while, and she stepped up to the plate and said, look, I need to be the woman to take the reins at this point, and I want to thank my husband for all he's done. And not only that, she did so well that she even put her daughter through school, college that is, with ACN. So without further ado, the one and only Miss Evelyn Phipps from Fresno, California.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. Can you hear me now? Okay, great. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you guys here this Friday. Again, it's always an honor when Mr. Thomas calls you and asks you if you can help out, do a call, because honestly, I'm nobody, you guys. I'm just little old Evelyn from Fresno, California. And if you know anything about Fresno, it's hot. We're in the middle of everything we're in the Central Valley. We're in the middle of San Francisco and LA. So there's no ocean, nothing beautiful about here, but we do have the lovely mountains and Yosemite behind us. So just like Mr. Thomas said, I got involved in this business because at the time, my husband was told he needed a back surgery. He couldn't go back to do his construction work. Like most of us, as we grow older, wear and tear of our body, it's just going to give out, you guys. There's a lot of things we're not going to be able to do like we used to do when we were younger. So I was working corporate America. I needed something else because I knew the money he made was the majority of it. We used my money, you guys, to go on vacation. And that's kind of crazy. I thought I made great money. I was a supervisor for a very large insurance company. Okay. And I thought, hey, this is what I've always wanted to be, corporate America. But it ain't the same, you guys. It's just not the same. When I was told, because I wanted to step down, I did not want to be a supervisor anymore because that wear and tear right there is enough. When I was told that I could no longer make any more money, I was at the top of where I needed to be. In other words, I was not going to get any more raises, nothing. I thought, wow. I thought, well, you know what? That's okay. I'll still work. I'll give it all my all because I wanted to take a step down. I did not want to be a supervisor anymore. I was missing my whole child's growing up, her life. But after a year or two, yeah, it upset me. When you're not getting a raise and you're doing the majority of the work, that's going to upset anybody. And like Mr. Thomas always says, they're going to trade you for, if you're 40, they're going to trade you for 220s. He's not kidding. I'm sure some of you have experienced things like that. Marcia Carter talks about what happened with her at the bank. So, you guys got to always have a plan B. And I'm so thankful that my girlfriend showed me this business. I got involved right away, only had Sundays to work. And let me tell you, I have not turned back since. I was able to retire doing what I hated to do after 2.5 years doing this business, very conservative, only on Sundays. As I was making more money, guess what? I pushed away from my job. I did not work all those hours anymore. I started working more on my business, and you will find that will happen to you. Okay, my topic today is the power of events. And I say that very diligently because the power of events and the effect they could have on your business is crazy. Okay, what do I mean? Okay, a wise man once said, events will do for you what you cannot do for yourself. Okay, and who said that? Our brilliant co-founder, Tony Kupas. And he is not kidding. If you do nothing else, you've got to learn how to promote events. Promoting is everything, you guys. Mr. Thomas has talked about it. Natasha's talked about it. Justin, all of our great talkers, the people that present here have talked about promoting and being good at edifying and promoting. You really need to learn that. That will take you where you cannot take yourself. So let's break this down really quick. What does that mean? Okay, let's face it, you guys, when you get started with ACN and you want to talk to your family and friends, they don't know you as professionals. They don't know you as successful. I know my friends and family didn't know me as that. They did know me, though, as someone who was hard worker. I'm a hardworking person. I'll give you everything I got. You know, I had a work ethic like nobody else's. I'll be the first one up and the last one to go to bed. And that was what they did know of me. So when we get started, most of our, like I said, most of our family and friends don't consider us super successful. So that is why we need to promote our mentors. And I don't mean everybody promote Mr. Thomas. Yeah, we can use him and show him people who we're working with, like the magazine, but we need to work with the mentors that got us involved. Like myself, I promote the Kings. Rose Guerrero, if it's a woman, Mr. Chris King, if it's a man, and boy, do I promote him. Being a fire captain, working for the state of California, gone all the time, all the summers, fighting these fire, you just got to work these words, and if you don't know what to say, go to your mentor and have them, hey, what can I say? Give me some nuggets to say about you. Because honestly, we learned that right away. Mr. Thomas talks about it. Try to say 5 to 6 good things, maybe more if you have, about each person to build them up. I promise you, you guys, your friends and family don't know them. Like, they probably don't know your mentor who you're working with. So they have no clue what they do, okay? I didn't know Mr. Julian Lewis until these calls. Although I did see him once at an international, so I take it back. But I didn't know a lot of these people. I knew Jocelyn because of ACN, things like that. But these are powerful people that we can be using, powerful people that we could be using as mentors and as people to build up. So whoever is doing the 1 through 10, the day that you're going to present, or when you're presenting a PBZ, when you're doing a PBZ, you really need to build the person who's speaking. Trust me, they will see the excitement in your face, the excitement in your voice, how excited you are about something that you just found. Let me just give you a little example. A good friend of mine knew I hated my job. Okay, this is just an example, and I needed to make some extra money. He mentioned he was working with a very successful individual who gets paid every time a cell phone rings. Well, I don't know about you, but that intrigued me. Getting paid every time a cell phone rings, I want to know more. He invited me to view a Zoom presentation by this successful individual. So I'm listening to this successful individual. I'm not listening to my friend. My friend's not doing the presenting, okay? So I'm going to listen to this person that I'm watching. I'm going to listen and take notes of everything he's saying. And if it's like most of our people that are talking on these Zoom calls, they're very, very powerful. They're coming out across with posture. They're coming out with excitement. They're talking about the 28 years this business is, the accolades that we have, everything about this business, how easy it is, because we're not selling anything, you guys. We're not selling, we're sharing. These are things, and I love to tell people this. When they ask me, well, what is it that you're doing? I go, oh my God, you have no clue. And they go, okay, what are you selling? I go, I'm not selling anything. What I love about my business is you're already using everything I promote. And they go, what do you mean by that? And I go, well, here's the deal. What are you doing tomorrow at such and such time? No, you're not going to hear from me. You're going to hear from my mentor. My mentor is doing, there's a presentation or whatever. Or if it's a Spanish one, you're going to hear from the successful person in the Spanish one. Just like that. And then you plug them into that. It's kind of funny because a lot of people don't even know about Zoom. And you know, we've been doing this for over a year now, a year and a half. And when I talk to people, what's Zoom? I go, oh, well, here, let me text you the app, and it's free. You just put it on, and I'll teach you how to put it on. So sometimes we have to, you know, what's the word? We have to help them through the way and get through it. And once they see that, you guys, it's crazy, because it's like, oh my God, they want to do it. They don't want to go to work. They want to do something like that. And I always tell people, you know what, this is something you do part-time. I'm not asking you to leave your job. I know you like your job. And they go, what do you mean I like my job? I hate my job. Okay, now we got some information about them. They hate their job. And they say, well, you know what? Just pay attention to this video. This is what got me to leave my job. Remember last week, Mr. Sam Foster said he goes and fires bosses? Just use a little bit of that. Just use a little bit of that. Just use what we hear from everybody that talks during these things. That's what I do. Sunday, we were at church and I walked out and I ran into somebody that I used to do Zumba with. Now, we hadn't had the classes, so I hadn't seen her. And she came and gave me a hug. And she goes, God, I haven't seen you. And so I go, I know. I go, well, Zumba's coming back. And she goes, yeah, I heard. And then she, out of the blue, she just goes, you know, I meant to ask you, what is it that you do? Because you make all these classes, different hours of the time, different, you know. So do you work? And I just looked at her and I laughed and I go, well, I make good. I go, I make money. I go, but I don't go to work. I don't have a job. I go, I actually partnered with the business. And she goes, really? And I go, well, here, it's hot. We're at a church. Give me your name and number. I'll send you something. And she says, okay, great. So you guys, am I always looking for people? Yes. But if you keep your ears and your eyes open, sometimes they come to you. Sometimes they come to you. You know, does this always happen? No. We all go through slumps. We all go through dry spells. But when that happens, you know what I do? I go back to a lot of my notes. I go back to, okay, what was working on this month? What was working on that month? And I go back to it. I actually went back to the girl that's always referring me a bunch of customers, and I talked to her, and she's going to help me. She's going to put out a video, ID seal video. Why is she going to do that? Because we're friends now. I let her do my hair. She refers me a lot of customers. I says, look, you have a huge following, which she does. She loves to talk on Facebook and all these things. I go, why don't you do a video of how great ID seal is, because you have it now. She was okay. So I was helping her what to say and things, you know, but you know, she's going to pump it up. She's just going to talk just like we're talking right here. She's going to talk about why she decided to get ID seal, what's happening out there. Every day we're hearing of cyber attacks and this and that, and, you know, big businesses, hospitals, anywhere we go is getting hacked. Heck, Facebook, the dark web, all that's getting hacked. This is something that everybody needs. So you guys, you've got to get good at promoting events. Promoting events will help you like nobody's business. When I first got started, that was something that I struggled with. And I'm not going to lie, I struggled with it because I said, I'm good at corporate America, but I wasn't good at this. You know, I go, what do I say? What do I say? And this is where the Kings would help me. They would, just like Mr. Thomas says, they give me 5 or 6 things to say about this person, 5 or 6 things. And we actually did like a little class. Some of the people, the leaders that got around that wanted to know more, we would get together at their house and we would practice for 5 or 10 minutes. I would say stuff and then they would say stuff. And that's how you get better and better. It gets to the point where you know everybody's story. Like Mr. Thomas, I'm sure he already knew my story. I know Natasha's story. I know the King's story. You know what I'm saying? I knew Jocelyn's story because we say it and hear it so much that you know it already. So you can use these people. You know, you can use other people's testimonies and things like that. It's not that hard, you guys. I do want to remind you, today is Friday, so it would be our follow-up Friday day for our Super Saturday tomorrow, you know, where this is where people maybe saw the video or saw one of the events during the week, a presentation. This is where you would, you know, if they had questions, you know what, that's a great question. Guess what? We're having something tomorrow morning. They're going to answer all those questions. You will learn like nobody's business. Plug them into that. Plug them into stuff like that. Now, if they're too busy, hey, we've always got something during the week, because Tony Kupis and all them are always doing something all through the week. You just got to go through your back office. Now, one other thing I want to talk about is today is our last day for the 2-for-1 training for our Game On event, you guys. The co-founders brought this up the other day. Thank you, Mr. Jabri. That we can get a 2-for-1 training on the Game On event, but today is the last day. Also, today is the last day that it's $29. So, I mean, this is a steal, you guys. When I think back of all the internationals I've been to, where I've flown to and this and that, all that, $29 is like a tip I'd give to a, you know, to somebody at a restaurant or something, you know. I'm serious. That is nothing, you guys. You know, after listening to the great stories we had this week, starting with Natasha, starting us off with the jump on, I can relate to her in the roller coasters. I'm not into that either, because I'm scared of heights. It was very hard for me to get on my first airplane going to an international, and that was going to North Carolina. I was so scared, you guys. I cannot tell you. I cannot even sit by a window because I'm afraid of heights. But I can relate to that. And then just about what Julian was talking about. We can all be great at getting people in the business, but if we don't get them qualified and to the next level, we're doing something wrong. We really are. So we really, really need to pay attention and work on doing these things, because my thing is, if I can't get somebody qualified, I'll back them out. And what I mean by that, maybe they don't want to switch their services. Maybe they don't want to, you know, there's a lot of things involved in that. Doesn't mean you're a failure, but why leave somebody in the business if they're not going to get qualified? And that's happened to me several times, you guys, because they said they're going to do this, they said they're going to do that, and they don't do it. So I don't want anybody to think, oh gosh, you know, she's talking directly to me. No, I'm just saying, I love what I heard this week. I felt like they were all talking to me, starting with Natasha and the jump on. I felt like, oh my God, she must know my story, that I'm so afraid I won't even get on roller coasters. We were at SeaWorld in San Diego, and you know, they have those little box carts that go across so that you don't have to walk. No, it was a zoo. So you don't have to walk all the way. I wouldn't get on that. And my husband and my daughter were saying, you have to, because we're not walking all that way. You got to get on it. You got to get on it. I didn't want to get on it because a part of it goes over the water and I was scared. But I did it because my husband was very adamant, and I closed my eyes, but I was still scared, you guys. It's crazy. And then when Julian was talking about the lovely things he was saying, I thought he was talking to me, because there are times that people don't make it to ETL right away. And it bothers me, but I've learned that I cannot take it personally anymore. If I can't get somebody to that position right away, it's not always my fault. We have to see what's happening on the other end. Okay. So I don't want people to take things personally. But what we can control is promoting events. We can control that. You just got to get good at being able to tell people this is what's going on. And I mean, do you want to catapult your business to the next level? because if you really do, you need to be on this. You need to be on this. It's only, so most people don't work on weekends. Now, if they work on weekends, I get it. You're just going to have to do something different. But if they don't, they can maybe listen to it still and get the good information. I listen to it every Saturday, sometimes two of them, the real early one and then the West Coast one. I may not see the pictures all the time, but I'm trying to listen because I get nuggets out of everything, you guys. So am I still struggling? Yeah, I'm still a work in progress. Nowhere am I near Mr. Thomas and them. But I'm not pretending to be like that either. I'm letting you know I'm just as real as you. I'm just as normal as you. Are there struggles? Absolutely. But go back to your notes. Just like Mr. Thomas says, I have a whole mess of these. I have a box of these, all colors though. I'm not the same color. I have blue, red, green, yellow, things like that. And I go back to things. What worked 2 months ago and how I got all those customers. I go back to that. So you guys, I wanted to open this up to see if anybody wanted to share maybe some nuggets on how to promote event that they do it. What I gave you was just an example. Do I say this all the time? No, no. But it was just something that came to my head right away. So if anybody wants to share maybe something that, other people can use, I'd love to hear them say, how they promote. And we're talking about new people. When you get a new person, and sometimes they can't, they don't want to get involved. They don't want to train. And this is what I tell people. When you got your job, did you not need to train? Because I don't know about you, but every job I've had, even if I had a degree for that, I still had to train how they do it. This is how they do it, And so, yeah, you need to train. We're no different. If you want to be successful, you need to train. Now, do you have to be on everything? No, but pick and choose what you can be on, the days you can be on. If you want to be successful, if you want to make the big money, you need to be on events. You need to start listening and putting these events into play. So is there anybody out there that would like to share? I don't know. Julian, are you on? Would you like to share? Julian always has good nuggets.
Sure. One thing I would tell you is this, and I think it was I'm glad that you talked about events. I know all month I'll be talking about the system, and that plays right into the system. And one thing I found is, coming from an engineering background, just like you, I didn't know anything about network marketing or what to do, but I was a hard worker, just like you were. And so all they told me is, if you could get great at showing people the business and figuring out a way to get them to the event, we'll do all the rest of the work. You just sit back and watch. And I took that to heart. So on these calls, one thing I'll recommend is this. There are not a lot of events going on where you can go in and be there physically. And I want to share, and I know you'll remember this. We used to share with our new people, the last thing you ever want to do is just invite them to the event and you're not there, right? So when it comes to Zoom, how does that work? You want to make sure that they know that you're going to be right there with them. Well, how do you make that happen digitally? Either you're going to get on a group message with them, so you're interacting. You can get on FaceTime with them while you're watching it. It creates an experience that is shared. See, one of the most important things about events is the shared experience. And you have to kind of try to create that and be creative to create that for your new person, so they don't feel alone in the steps. They actually feel like you're right there alongside with them. So figure out a way to create a shared experience with your new person. And every single time you have a new person on, make sure you're right there with them side by side, even if it's on FaceTime or digital. I hope that helps.
Yes, that's very creative. I mean, because like you said, when we used to be at an event, an actual event where we can be sitting there, we would sit with our new person. We used to say, hey, we're buying Starbucks. What do you want? I'll make sure you got it when you get to the, just to get them there, make sure they're there. So yeah, that is a great idea. It kind of breaks the monotony where they're not so, tensed up and scared, because even when they walked into an event, some people were like, oh, wow, where am I? Everybody's all dressed up, So that's a great idea. Thank you, Julian. Anybody else want to share?
Yes, Evelyn, how you doing? Sam Foster,
Great.
Texas. Yeah, I would say, Evelyn, we used to have a thing that we said back in the day, stay in phase one. And when you say stay in phase one, that means keep doing it as if you just walked in the door. In other words, stay hungry. Don't count your ups too much. Don't count your losses too much. Just stay even keel. As if you just promote the event for the first time, as if you just got into business for the first time. In other words, you stay hungry. A lot of times we sit back and we rest. We get a few people in the business. We say, oh, we got it now.
Yeah.
Or you don't get enough people in the business and then you get kind of slumpish. Either way, stay in phase one. That way you'll never get too high. You'll never get too low. And you're consistent. You make ACN a lifestyle. And once you make it a lifestyle, you'll find yourself doing things you never even knew. Like right now, Texas is very hot. And when I say very hot, I mean, as soon as you walk outside, you see the devil. I mean, as soon as you walk out your door. I mean, it's hot, it's humid, your clothes stick to you. You can't even get to your car without your clothes sticking to you. But when you recognize I'm going out every day as if I just started the business today, your energy level stays up, your attitude stays positive in most cases, and people can see that. They can actually see that.
Thank you. Now let me ask you, Mr. Foster, how are you getting them to events? Are they plugging into events, or do some of them work on weekends?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. You got to take the yin with the yang. If they do work on weekends, you have them like a lot of times when we do events, a lot of times these events are recorded. You have them go back and look at different things. You send them different things. A lot of times if people are talking and you know that you want them to plug in, like a Shaquille Cooper or something like that, especially if they're younger people, you send them that information. Because a lot of times with younger people, things slip their mind. They're not as attentive as some older people that are stable. I find myself sending them the information. I say, hey, I thought about you. A lot of times if you got a younger person, if it's an older person, they can connect to everybody that's on the call. A lot of times with Marcel Carter, she's very energetic. So when I catch somebody that's energetic, I say, hey, you need to check this person out, and it relates to them. So you have to find out what that niche is for people that is relatable. Everybody can be relatable to somebody. So I use actual past events to pique other people. So it's use the resources.
There you go. That's exactly it. Thank you, Mr. Foster. That's exactly it, you guys. Mr. Thomas mentions this all the time. I go back and I listen to a lot of these things when I'm at the gym or something, when I have quiet time. I listen to them over and over. Chanel Cooper is an excellent one. I always send the younger generation his, because that guy is so crazy driven. It's just unbelievable. The things that he would rather do than what the normal young people are doing, like partying and going to parties and whatnot. He shows them a different path. If this is what you want, you can have it before you're 30, and that's remarkable. So thank you, Mr. Foster, for that. You guys, this is Friday. Back in the day, we always said follow up Friday. We're still saying it because tomorrow is our Super Saturday event where everybody that is on the call is going to get all the information. How to get a customer, mindset, how to build a team, how to promote events. There's a lot of information in our back office too to promoting. I was just giving you an example. Mr. Julian was giving you an example, and Mr. Sam Foster was giving you an example. But there is a lot of stuff, you guys. Know who you're talking to first and foremost. Know what type of person they are. If they work on Saturdays, you know what? You can always plug them in and ship these videos to them. I do that all the time. I do them to people that are in the business now, you know, because I know they probably didn't get on the call because they were working. So I'll ship it to them, you know, and say, God, you got to listen to this guy. You know, he's reminded me of you, just like Sam said. So I hope that helps everybody. Remember, today is the last day for the $29 fee and the 2-for-1. So we really need to promote that, you guys. That is our international. That is our big grand, you know, like our Super Bowl. And I don't know about you, but the last one we had was just so powerful and so excitable. It's just so much great information, the flash mobile, everything else, the Zoom energy and things like that. And then Mr. Thomas popping it on us, you know, surprising us. That was a big surprise. That was huge. But I just want to reiterate, we've got to promote it. So Mr. Thomas, if you're still there,